Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jersey Zone. Today I want to talk about jersey customization. So the name and numbers on the back of your jerseys. I've had plenty of different questions about jersey customization in the past, so I thought I would go ahead and make a video dedicated to that. We'll talk about kind of just the basics, but the different styles of jersey customization, the materials that are usually used as well, and we'll also talk about what each team uses. Now, of course, since we are in the middle of a manufacturer transition from Adidas to Fanatics, that could change, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on when we get to that part in the video. And of course, I will have timestamps in the description, so if you want to skip ahead to a certain section, you can just go ahead and do that there. But before we do get into it here, if you guys are new to the channel and you like hockey jersey content, please make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Let's begin by talking about the difference in between pre-stitched and hand-stitched customization. With pre-stitched, that means that the name and numbers are not sewn onto the jersey, they're just heat pressed or glued on. So we can see with my Mitch Marner Stadium Series jersey right here, it is a Fanatics breakaway, which means that there is no stitching on this jersey. It is a pre-stitched. So if we take a look at inside of the jersey, there is no stitching line or anything like that. Now with the name bar itself is stitched on very, very faintly. You can see right there. However, the letters themselves are actually just heat pressed onto the name bar there. So really the only stitching is the name bar itself. Now, the positives to pre-stitching a jersey is that usually it is cheaper than the hand stitched. However, it does make it a lot easier for the name and numbers to start peeling, especially with these Fanatics jerseys. I've seen a lot of pictures online, and I'm sure you guys have as well, with the name and number stripping on these Fanatics jerseys. So that is a huge negative to getting the jersey pre-stitched. With the hand stitched jersey, that just means that they are actually stitched onto the jersey itself. The name and numbers are stitched on, so you can see with this jersey right here, it is stitched. Once again, the positive for that is that usually it does stay on the jersey a lot longer. It lasts a lot longer. With the negatives, it is more expensive in most cases. And also, I mean, like every now and again, you can either get a loose thread that you'll have to kind of clean up a little bit, or maybe the stitching job just isn't done very well. I find that to not really happen all too often, at least in my experience. So most of the time I would go with the hand stitched option just because it looks a lot better and also it lasts a lot longer. Let's move on to talking about the more common materials that are used with customization. So the first one we'll talk about is vinyl. So this is what a vinyl customization looks like. Basically, it is your regular customization on an Adidas jersey before the prime green took over in that 2021-2022 season. So they're very, very cheap. They're shiny. You can see just how awful they look. They scrunch up really easy. If there is multiple layers, it does not have that. Like, it's just the fake multiple layers. They're all sublimated. Personally, I hate the vinyl customization. I think it looks absolutely awful. It just does not look good whatsoever. They kind of fold pretty easily as well. You usually can iron them out and make them look a little bit better, but most of the time, I wouldn't even say it's worth it. I really do not like vinyl customization. So I was really happy when Adidas moved away from using the vinyl as that factory customization and upgraded it with the prime green using those twill name and numbers. Of course, we're going to have to see if Fanatics does continue that as well with their jerseys. I'm hoping that that is the case. Speaking of Fanatics, they do also have their own material for their name and numbers on their Fanatic breakaway jerseys. Now, I really do not like this material. It's called fan text is what they say, but it's pretty similar, I would say, to the vinyl material. It's just really cheap. It looks shiny. It does not look very good. It's super bendy. Now, it doesn't really crease as bad as the vinyl numbers. Like, it is really malleable, so that is good, but it just doesn't look appealing. I would say it looks really, really bad. It looks cheap. It feels cheap. That is for sure. Now, I don't think that they are going to be using this material for the name and numbers on their premium jerseys, which is basically the Adidas equivalent when they do release those. So I'm not really too worried about them using this material just because of the fact that it is probably going to stay on those Fanatic breakaway jerseys, and that's it. At least that is my hope, but it still doesn't look good. I still really do not like it. The next type of material that we have is felt. Now, I love felt customization. It's really soft. It kind of feels like a wool-like material, I would say, and you usually do see it on Winter Classic jerseys. That at least is the main place, on the customization as well as the logo itself. That is where, you usually do see that felt. Every now and again, you'll see it on a third jersey, like for example, with the Boston Bruins Centennial third jersey this year, that had felt customization as well. So it's not only the Winter Classic jerseys, but that is really the main place that you do see felt. So yeah, I love my felt customization kits. However, there is a downside to them, and that is that they do actually require a decent amount of upkeep. You have to pay attention to it because they attract a lot of like dust and hair. Like, I'm just looking at this jersey right now and I can see some hair on that felt. The felt does also pull pretty easily, so every now and again you might have a little bit of like fur sticking out that you'll kind of have to deal with, and if you do kind of crease the numbers, it is a lot harder to get out than with any other material, I would say. So yeah, there is a couple of downsides to the felt customization kit, but at least in my opinion, it is kind of worth it just because of how cool it is and just how much I like it. But let's move on to the most common material used for the name and numbers, and that is twill. So this is what the prime green jerseys upgraded to, going from the vinyl in the Aero Ready and the Climalite era, and then once they moved into the prime green, they started using the twill material, which is a huge upgrade. Twill name and numbers, it looks fantastic. I mean, it is what the players wear. They're very sturdy. They don't really like fold that easily. They look really nice. Yeah, it's just kind of basically your most standard material, and that is what it's been for a long time as well. Of course, you know, like we mentioned, there is other materials as well, but this is kind of like your standard material that you're going to see on almost every single jersey. And the last material that I'm going to touch on here, not saying that these are the only materials ever used with customization kits, but these are just kind of like the more standard ones. The last one that I want to touch on is Glacier Twill. I love Glacier Twill so much. So of course it is still that twill material, but inside of it, it has a zigzag pattern, and I think it looks awesome. It is so fantastic. Unfortunately, it was never used in the Adidas era, and I'm really not quite too sure why. I hope that Fanatics does bring it back because yeah, I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's a really nice material, that is for sure. But now let's get into the different styles of customization. The first one being single layer, which is pretty self-explanatory. It just means there is only one material, there's only one layer of number. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that there is only one color because they can be sublimated, basically meaning that a certain section of the number is dyed a different color. So in some circumstances, it can look like a jersey does have multiple layers when it is only that single layer customization, but for the most part, when you do see a single layer customization, it's just one color and that's it. Then of course our next style is just stack twill, meaning that there is multiple layers. So of course with this one here, you have the yellow as the bottom layer, the red as the middle, and then the white on top. Most of the time with stack twill, it's usually 2 or 3 layers. There is one circumstance that I've seen 4 layers, but 99% of the time it's going to be 2 or 3. So yeah, with this one here, of course, it is 3 layers. Our next style is reverse kiss cut, and with this one here, it's only 2 layers of number, but the top layer is cut out in a way to make it look like it's outlining the bottom layer. So as you can see with this picture, the white is the main color of the number, but that is the bottom layer, and the top layer, the gray, is cut out in a way to make it look like it's outlining that white. Then we have semi-reverse kiss cut, or you might usually see the abbreviation of it, which is SRKC. I always thought it stood for stacked reverse kiss cut because it is a combination of the stacked twill and the reverse kiss cut. So that's what I thought it stood for, but it's semi-reverse kiss cut. With this style, there's 3 layers to it. You start off with the white being the bottom layer, the black is that secondary layer, and then the gold is the third layer. But once again, like that semi-reverse kiss cut, the gold is cut out in a way to make it look like it's outlining the black. So that is why it's kind of a combination of the stacked twill and the semi-reverse kiss cut, is because it's basically that semi-reverse kiss cut with an extra layer on the bottom. And I guess also with this jersey that I'm wearing right here, you can see that there is a LA Kings laser etched logo inside of the black parts of this number. I don't know if you really want to call that a different style of customization, just because of the fact that, you know, I don't know if I've ever seen it outside of this jersey right here. So it's really rare, like very rare. Maybe there is some other jerseys that do have that, but not that I really know of. So I didn't really want to have it as its own section, but I thought I would mention it here. Our next style though is cowboy cut. This is a pretty rare style of customization kit, but I wanted to mention it here because the Boston Bruins did use this on the reverse retro 2.0 jersey, so pretty recently. With this one here, it's kind of like the reverse kiss cut customization kit. However, the top layer, instead of outlining the number completely, is actually set in just a little bit, so it makes that bottom layer extend out just a little bit more. So as you can see with this Boston Bruins reverse retro 2.0 jersey, the black is the bottom layer and the yellow is on top, but it's not completely outlining all of the black. It's set in just a little bit, so you have a little bit of black extending outwards. It's kind of cool. It's something different. I don't see it all too often. It's not on a lot of jerseys, but like I said, with it being on the Bruins reverse retro 2.0 jersey, I thought I would mention it. The last one that I want to touch on is the perforated number kit. So this is basically just holes inside of the numbers. It was an Adidas thing, and honestly, I was never a fan of it, at least in most cases. On some jerseys, I do think it looks okay, but most of the time, there's no kind of flair to it. There's no kind of style to it. It's just holes in the numbers, and that's it. When I do like it, it's jerseys like this one right here, where it's the Vancouver Canucks third jersey, and the perforated numbers are in a style that makes it look like it's kind of raining, like there's a little bit of downpour. That is when I think it looks pretty cool. That is when I like it. Another example is the Dallas Stars third jersey, their blackout jersey. That kind of makes it look like it's a little bit more of a 3D effect to it. So I like the perforated numbers in those circumstances, but 99% of the time, it's just holes in the numbers, and I don't think it looks particularly that great. Now, I just want to quickly talk about the different types of name bars or nameplates. I kind of say both. I don't know if there's like, a specific one that most people use, but I go back and forth whether it's name bar or nameplate. But anyways, let's talk about the different types of name bars. There's 3 of them. The first one is just the regular standard straight across name bar. Most teams use this, like 99% of teams, or like 98, because you also have the arch name bar, which is what the New York Rangers, of course, use, the Detroit Red Wings as well, the Colorado Avalanche. Basically, it is just the arched name bar. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then, of course, lastly, you do also have the no name bar, which once again is very self-explanatory. There is no name bar on this jersey. The letters are sewn directly onto the jersey itself, and the LA Kings use that now. Like even nowadays, they still use the no name bar. There are a couple of other teams as well. So yeah, those are your basically 3 different ways that you can have a name bar or nameplate, is either the standard straight across, the arched, or just none at all. All right, so that is going to be the main part of this video. That is most of the questions that I usually do get asked about customization kits. If you guys have any more questions or maybe need some clarification, leave them in the comments down below and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. But I'm not done with the video yet. There's still one thing that I do want to talk about, and that is what every single team uses as their customization style. So a few clarifications before we do get into it. First of all, of course, this is the on-ice customization. So this is not the customization kit that you're going to get if you buy from like the NHL shop. It's one thing that actually bothers me quite a bit, is that the NHL shop only does just like the stack twill and that's it. They don't do anything really special with that customization kit. I wish that they did. I wish that they actually matched the on-ice customization. I think that would be really cool, but of course we don't get that. Anyways, for this list here, we are only going to be doing the home and away jerseys, and unless specified, it is going to be what teams used last season only. They could have used something else in previous years that I don't mention, so unless I specifically say, oh, they also use this in other seasons, then it is only going to be for the 2023-2024 season. On top of that as well, this list of course is subject to change because sometimes teams just change their customization kit in the off season anyways, but on top of that as well, we are going into the Fanatics era, so it's entirely possible some of this list is going to be wrong in the future, and in the very near future, very possible. So what I am going to be doing is I'm going to link to a website in the description down below. It's a website called the Hockey Jersey Database. It was made by one of the mods over at the Hockey Jersey Discord. His name is Ember, or at least that's the Discord name, of course. But yeah, huge props to them because this was a massive help to me. I could have gone through and looked at pictures and figured out what each team uses for their customization kit, but it would have taken me way longer than just looking at what the website said. So huge thanks to them, and I definitely do recommend you guys go check out that website anyways because it's really neat. Like, not only does it list the customization style for every single jersey, but it also says all of the patches that were used with that jersey. It has pictures, and it says the official customizer of that jersey as well, and then it links to their website. So if you do want to get your jersey customized to the on-ice specifications, that website is really helpful to see who customized it and where you can reach out to them. So yeah, it's a very helpful website. Right now, they do only have the Adidas era, and that's it. I mean, I say that's it, but it's still a lot of jerseys to go over and a lot of information to have. Hopefully they do keep updating it with the Fanatics era. I believe I saw that they were kind of like looking at going into the Reebok era as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be like a pretty big project, but it's a really good website just the way that it is right now. So very helpful. Like I said, definitely go check it out. But anyways, let's go over what every single team uses, or at least used this past season. We'll start off with the single layer customization, and then we'll kind of list every single team that did that. Then we'll go into the stacked, and then kind of so on and so forth. So starting off with single layer, the teams that use that is the Boston Bruins, the Dallas Stars, the Detroit Red Wings, the Nashville Predators, Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Vancouver Canucks. So as you can see, there's a little asterisk there on some of the teams, and that is because I have more things to say about them. As for the Boston Bruins, for them, they do have these sublimated number kits, as we talked about when we were talking about the single layer customization kits. Even though there is 2 different colors here, it is still 1 layer, but they also, not only do they have the sublimation, but they also have faux stitching. So they really want to make it look like there is multiple layers to their customization kits, but it's not, it's just 1. Now, of course, you may have noticed that I am using technically the old Boston Bruins jerseys, not their Centennial one. With their Centennial customization kit, kind of the same thing. They do still have that faux stitching, but also with the sparkle there, apparently it's like Elmer's glued on. It's very strange. I've heard that it comes off fairly easily as well. With the Boston Bruins, their official customizer is custom crafted, and they're known for some really janky stuff, just very strange, doesn't really work too well, doesn't really look that great. So yeah, the Boston Bruins are an interesting team team when it comes to their customization kit. But yeah, with them going into the Fanatics era, they are switching back to their technically old home and away jerseys, so they're probably going to have that sublimated and faux stitching like they did in the Adidas era. As for the Detroit Red Wings, they are actually kind of interesting because, of course, you can see the letters on the jersey are arched, but they don't actually have a name bar. So they have no name bar, but in the arched kind of style to it. It's very unique. I really do like it a lot. With the Nashville Predators, they actually have the sublimated customization. So once again, like the Boston Bruins, it's all sublimated. It's all one layer. The letters are also like that as well, but it's kind of cool. I do like the Nashville customization kit because they have the guitar strings. I think it's very neat. Now let's talk about the teams that have the stack customization kit. It's a lot of them. So we have the Anaheim Ducks, the Arizona Coyotes, the Buffalo Sabres, Calgary Flames, Carolina Hurricanes, Columbus Blue Jackets, Chicago Blackhawks, Edmonton Oilers, Minnesota Wild, Montreal Canadiens, New Jersey Devils, New York Islanders, New York Rangers, Ottawa Senators, Pittsburgh Penguins, San Jose Sharks, Seattle Kraken, and Winnipeg Jets. So yeah, a lot of teams have the stacked twill. Most of them are just like the 2 to 3 layers, nothing really too crazy, but with the Anaheim Ducks, they will be having 4 layers with their new numbers, which is pretty crazy. Like I talked about when we were talking about the stacked twill, when we were going over that, this is the only time that I've seen 4 layers on a number kit. It's crazy. It's actually really cool. I do like it a lot, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. With the Coyotes, they never actually used a name bar on any of their Adidas jerseys. I thought that was quite interesting. Now, of course, they no longer are a team and they moved to Utah. As for Utah, we don't know what their customization kit is going to look like as of right now. From me, it looks like it is just going to be the stacked twill once again. It looks like it's just going to be the 2 layers there. I don't think we've seen an official picture of the back of the jersey yet, and obviously we haven't seen a real picture of the jersey yet, so we're still kind of waiting on that. We'll have to see exactly what Utah does. With the Montreal Canadiens, this is actually something that I never really paid attention to, I guess, but with the Canadiens, their home jersey has 2 layers, but their away jersey has 3. I never really noticed that. It's kind of surprising, but yeah, I never paid attention to it. With the New York Rangers, of course, we've kind of already gone over them. They have the arch name bar. And then with the Seattle Kraken, they actually used reverse kiss cut up until 2023. In the 2023-2024 season, they ended up switching to stacked twill. So if you're looking at an inaugural season Seattle Kraken jersey, you're looking at getting that reverse kiss cut. Otherwise, with this final season here of the Adidas era, it goes on to the stacked twill. Now, with the teams that do actually use reverse kiss cut, you have the Colorado Avalanche, the Florida Panthers, the LA Kings, Philadelphia Flyers, Vegas Golden Knights, and the Washington Capitals. So most teams in this category have something interesting with them. As for the Avalanche, they just have an arch name bar. The LA Kings, they have no nameplate, and that is the same thing going into next season. And with the Vegas Golden Knights, they have the perforated number kits. And then our last category here is the semi-reverse kiss cut. There's actually only 2 teams in here. It is the St. Louis Blues and the Tampa Bay Lightning. So pretty interesting to see how little teams use the semi-reverse kiss cut, but yeah, it's a pretty interesting number kit, and they don't really have anything special outside of that. But that is going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to leave a like, and if you do have any more questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. You know, I'm not an expert or anything like that. It's just stuff that I picked up over the years of collecting, so, you know, sometimes I might not be able to answer a question. If I can't, hopefully I'll be able to guide you to a place that can actually answer it for you. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.